Imagine this: you open your eyes, grab your phone, scroll through messages, maybe check Instagram, maybe the news. You sigh, already tired. Coffee. Emails. Rushing. Stress. Sound familiar? Here's the thing no one tells you: from that very first moment, you've already lost. You've been starting your day wrong your whole life. And what's worse, you thought it was normal. Because this chaotic, autopilot morning is how 95% of people wake up. But not the top 1%. Not the people who build empires while others are still pressing snooze. There's something they know, something they do. And once you understand it, your mornings, your entire life, will never be the same. There's a phenomenon. It's not a secret, but it feels like one, because no one teaches it in school, no one shows it in the movies. It's simple, powerful, and it sits quietly behind the success of nearly every high achiever you admire. Millionaires. Visionaries. World-class creators. They all tap into this, consciously or not. It's called the morning cascade. And today, we're pulling back the curtain. Let me take you to 5 a.m. Somewhere in the mountains of Montana. A man named Chris gets up, no alarm, no hesitation. He walks to the window, breathes in deep, and stares at the rising sun. There's silence. Stillness. Then he opens his journal and begins to write. No emails. No distractions. Just clarity. 2 years ago, he was bankrupt, depressed, stuck in a job he hated. Today, he's running a company worth millions. Same brain. Different mornings. Here's what most people never understand: your first 20 minutes in the morning are like wet cement. Whatever impressions you leave there, anxiety, distraction, inspiration, purpose, they set the tone for the entire day. They harden. And then you walk through them. You wake up late. You scroll. You stress. And your brain immediately shifts into survival mode, reacting, chasing, defending. It feels like you're behind before you've even begun. And then you try to do big things with a mind already cluttered and scattered. It's like trying to build a cathedral on quicksand. Now contrast that with how a self-made millionaire starts their day. No, not some mythical 17-step routine with cold plunges and $500 juices. I'm talking about intention. Mental sovereignty. They wake up with a clear mission, and everything they do, from the moment they open their eyes, supports that mission. There's a structure, a rhythm. It's not about being busy. It's about being in control. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get more done before 9 a.m. than most do all day? It's not superpowers. It's a mindset architecture, built piece by piece, morning after morning. But let me tell you a story that might surprise you. In 2012, a young woman named Maya lived in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn. No connections. No funding. Just a vision. Every morning at 6 a.m., she would sit with her notebook and write out one idea that could move her closer to that vision. Just one. She wasn't trying to hustle harder. She was shaping her thinking. 3 years later, she launched a startup that changed how millions of people work remotely. Her mornings were the blueprint. Here's the brutal truth: the world doesn't care how many hours you work. It rewards clarity, energy, focus. And all three are born, or broken, in the first hour of your day. But let's go deeper. Why is it so hard to change? Why do we keep hitting snooze on the life we say we want? Because the brain is lazy. Not stupid, just energy efficient. It loves patterns. Familiar loops. And when you wake up and repeat the same chaotic behaviors, you reinforce the same identity. Over and over. Until it becomes who you are. Not by choice, but by momentum. This is where the millionaires break the cycle. They design their mornings to disrupt that autopilot. And what happens next is incredible: new identity forms. Not just externally, but neurologically. Synapses fire differently. Emotions stabilize. Decisions sharpen. Over time, this becomes effortless. But in the beginning, it takes friction. And here's the turning point: the friction is a gift. That moment when your bed feels warm and the world feels heavy, that's not weakness. That's the door. The very resistance you feel is the key to transforming who you are. And only those who walk through it, consistently, earn the rewards on the other side. Let's get tactical. What do those top 1% mornings actually look like? First, they protect their mind like it's sacred. No phone. No news. Nothing external for the first 30 to 60 minutes. Because every notification is someone else's agenda hijacking your clarity. Second, they move. Not always to train, but to awaken. A short walk. Light stretching. Breathing. The body leads the brain. When you move with presence, your thoughts follow. Third, they write. Could be goals, fears, gratitude, planning. Journaling is not about being poetic, it's about gaining perspective. Getting what's inside, out. So it stops running the show from the shadows. Fourth, they rehearse. Mentally. Visualize. Not just what they want to do, but how they'll show up. With calm. With intention. This primes the nervous system. It's not fluff. It's neuroscience. And finally, they ask better questions. Not, what do I have to do today, but who do I want to be while I do it? That single shift changes everything. You might think, this sounds simple. Too simple. And you'd be right. But simple isn't easy. If it were, everyone would be living on fire, building dreams, leading lives of meaning. Most aren't. Because they're addicted to distraction, enslaved by urgency, and numb to their own potential. There's a haunting story from the 1800s. A prisoner in France was locked in a cell with no windows. No clock. Every day, a bell would ring, and food would appear. Years passed. One day, the bell stopped. No food. He starved, not because there was no food, but because he had surrendered his will to a routine he didn't control. That's what modern mornings are doing to millions. Quietly. Invisibly. Killing purpose. You're not here to be efficient in a system that drains you. You're here to remember that the way you start your day is the most radical form of self-respect. When you rise with intention, you reject the narrative that you must be available, productive, reactive, first thing. You reclaim sovereignty. You plant your flag. You say, this is my life, and it begins my way. Let me tell you about Leo. Ex-military. Lived with PTSD for years. Couldn't hold a job. Every morning felt like a battle. But instead of escaping it, he studied it. He learned how to use stillness. Breath work. Morning journaling. Not to fix himself, but to understand himself. Today he runs a foundation that helps thousands of veterans do the same. His mornings became a healing ritual. And through them, he found a new mission. You don't need to be a soldier. Or a CEO. Or a genius. You just need to stop letting the world decide who you are before breakfast. The millionaires? They aren't just rich in money. They're rich in clarity. Discipline. Peace. And that wealth starts before the emails. Before the meetings. In the silence, when no one's watching, they make the invisible decisions that shape everything visible. Here's the twist, this isn't really about mornings. It's about identity. Every day, the way you begin is a microvote for the kind of person you believe you are. A leader. A creator. A survivor. A zombie. Your habits don't just follow your identity, they form it. And the most powerful identities are forged in those quiet, invisible moments when no one else is looking. Think back to your own life. Think of the best days you've had. I bet most of them didn't start in chaos. They started with some kind of order, focus, intention. Now imagine if that became your norm. Not the exception. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when you stop outsourcing your energy to randomness and take command of your internal state, first thing, every day. Don't underestimate this. The first hour is the golden hour. It's the birthplace of momentum. And momentum, once rolling, becomes a storm no resistance can hold back. So, tomorrow, don't reach for your phone. Reach for yourself. Whatever that means, breath, prayer, writing, stillness, a run, a cold splash of water. Start with you. Anchor into what matters before the world pulls you in 20 directions. Give your mind a destination before it becomes a battlefield. Remember, how you wake is how you live. Take back your mornings. And watch everything else fall into place. If this resonated, if something inside you stirred, don't let it fade.